Happy Thursday, everyone. It is January 15, 2026. Can you believe we're already 15 days into the new year? It just feels like yesterday was 2024. We'll start like we do each and every work session. We'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, and we'll ask Councilwoman Merrifield if you would lead us.
Thank you, Supervisor. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
With liberty
and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Just a few announcements today. We will go ahead and kick it off and have Tim Allen come forward. Tim, if you would join us. Tim is going to be here to describe in detail what happened yesterday and how we're making sure that it's all taken care of.
Okay, yesterday around 10 o'clock, the contractors that were working on encasing our main, going down Main Street, noticed a break in the Y branch. So they assumed, as soon as they noticed it was leaking into the ground. There was dewatering on the site because it's in groundwater through well points. And they stopped the flow about 45 minutes after. They bypass pumped around it because the bypass pump was there from the day before. So they bypass pump around it. There was no cleanup because it saturated into the ground. The dewatering pump points might have took it into the dewatering box. I went up and looked in the dewatering box, didn't see anything. It was still nice, clean groundwater going out into the river. No smell, no odor. The health department was notified. They came out. The health department and the DEC was both notified. They both came out. Well, the health department came out. They looked around the pit. They saw the replacement piece was done within an hour or so. They saw that. They were fine with that. They took some samples in the river just in case. And we'll know back in about 3 or 4 days with the samples.
Well, thank you so much for taking care of it before. I just want to see, does anyone have any questions?
I think you did a great job in mitigating this situation.
Thank you so much and your team for mitigating this and keeping us as safe as possible. We know accidents happen and things, sometimes, and so we're looking forward to those samples getting back and reporting it back. So thanks, Tim.
Okay.
Thanks for coming in. Also tonight, I'll be at the Greater Civic at Riley Avenue at 6:30 speaking, and then again Saturday at the Heart of Riverhead Civic at the Riverhead Free Library at 10:30 a.m. And don't forget also Monday, January 19th, Town Hall will be closed in observation of Martin Luther King Day. And I just wanted to ask if anyone has any other announcements that they'd like to make this morning. Yes, ma'am?
I do. Very exciting. Next Friday, January 23rd, we have our red, white, and blue ball. Ticket sales have been great. We're going to have a wonderful event. We hope that everybody has purchased their tickets. There's still a few tickets left. We encourage you to purchase your tickets and join us, dressed in red, white, and blue. And there it is.
There it is. Did I get it?
Thank you. If you'd like to dress in a different era in costume, there is going to be a contest for who comes best dressed, and I actually am preparing to wear something very fancy, so I'm excited about that. Kind of out of my comfort zone a little bit, but I'm going to do it because it's such a great event, and I love to see Riverhead come together. So join us next Friday. Can't wait.
Is that the Sea Star?
It's at the Sea Star Ballroom. And do you have anything that you'd like to add?
Just let everybody know, if you don't want to dress in costume, come patriotically in red, white, and blue. That's what I'm going to be doing. But there are people that are very enthusiastic about wearing costumes. We encourage everybody, come celebrate 250 years of America here right in Riverhead.
It's going to be an outstanding event. I hope to see everybody there. So tickets, they will not be sold at the door. So you do need to pre-buy your tickets. So please do that. So anybody else have any other announcements that they'd like to make?
I'm good, thanks.
Thank you. Good. Thank you, sir. All right. If that takes care of it, then we will move on and start our discussion. I believe, I just want to make sure. Matters surrounding the site plan of special permit application for 221 Scott Avenue, battery energy storage with Matt Charters. Matt, come on down. I know, right?
See, that washing machine was worth, no.
$1.
And wouldn't we have to dress in costume?
No, here, today. Oh, Andy did. No.
For the Price is Right?
I have asked,
No, that's, let's make a deal.
I also asked Andrew Smith to be here.
My memories.
Allison, if you could just introduce yourself for the record.
Of course. Good morning, everyone. Allison Sclafani, Weber Law Group. 290 Broad Hollow Road, 290 Broad Hollow Road, Melville, New York, 11747. And with me is Kara Minard from Weber Law Group as well for Sundial and Clean Capital.
Yeah. Just get the site plan open. Whomever is in the booth, if we could shoot the table. Just get a good plan of this, everybody.
Justin heard you? Oh,
All right, so this is a site plan and special permit application for 221 Scott Avenue in EPCAL. If the board is familiar, we did review this at work session in June of 2025. We were waiting on some outstanding items. Just so everyone is aware, this is a Tier 2 battery energy storage system, which does require a special permit and, in this case, a site plan from the town board because it is located within EPCAL. It's a 5 megawatt battery energy storage system with related site improvements. Southwest portion of the site, as you can see, in terms of scale, it's a relatively small footprint. This is basically, it's about 6,000 square feet, more or less, I believe, maybe a little bit bigger, 10.
No, it's about 6.5.
So we've been waiting on outstanding items prior to making a secret determination on this, one of which was from New York State SHPO, so Historic Preservation Area, because EPCAL is an archaeologically and historically sensitive area, as well as from DEC, because, believe it or not, this was in jurisdiction for tiger salamanders. We did get correspondence back from both agencies. No permit take necessary for tiger salamanders, as it's far enough away from any breeding ponds, and no impacts to historic structures in terms of SHPO. So I am comfortable with moving on to the next step, which would be making a secret determination on this, finding there's not to be any significant environmental impacts expected as a result of the action, and scheduling a public hearing, I believe, for February. In terms of code compliance, this does comply with our battery code. We have referred it out to outside agencies. Andrew's taken a hard look on this and had some asks, but in terms of fire safety, this does meet New York State Fire Code, as well as, I think, the updated fire code for batteries.
Yeah, with the recommendations, yep.
Does the board have any questions?
So Andrew, just so that the residents know, when there's battery storage, the fire department is trained on this.
So they
can't-
they have to give training to the fire department. In this case, it'd be Manorville Fire Department. That is one of the recommendations that the state put out. That's mandatory, and I believe there's annual training thereafter. That's a requirement of this.
I think that's important for residents to know.
yeah, that's my hangup, is that we are working on a hazmat unit for our town, and we are working full force to get that into completion, and I am just not comfortable with these being operational until our hazmat team, because we have to leave a firefighter on site for plus 30 hours. And so I'm not against the plan, I'm not against the technology, but we need to protect our first responders. We sit in here every day and talk about honoring them. Part of our code does say that anything that we do does need to make sure that our first responders, we just had a meeting last work session where we sat and had all of our first responders here and want them to volunteer and stay, and then having their family know that risk and exposing them to this, and I understand that the risk is like a lot of others, but this is the requirement to fight this fire is
It's different,
It's different.
yeah.
It's just different, and then the stay. The fact that we're required to leave someone on site post fire for that length of time. We're either the taxpayers are consuming that cost. We're calling in a different department. We're having one of our people on site.
And I think
We're asking-
Andrew, not to interrupt you, I think Andrew can speak to that in terms
He's
of
going to.
in terms of costs and chargebacks and who's responsible for what. So if you can shed a little bit of light on that, Andrew.
So we're still working on getting our hazmat team off the ground. I still have a couple more action items that we have to do before we formally adopt it. So for right now, it's Manorville Fire Department would respond and have to stay on site for something like this. Yes, there's a subject matter expert associated with it. They will respond and guide them, but it is the volunteers until we can get our hazmat team off the ground. When we finally do, the idea is that we take over the scene from them and we put our hazmat team there, we can bill back the proprietor for our services. We have that in our town code. So we will recoup that, whatever it costs us to be there from, the property owner, basically. But until then, it's the volunteer fire department. We could work up something to get them some monetary stuff back, but again, those guys are volunteering their time to be there.
To that
So
point,
is it the academy that is putting out the training as well? Because in other battery-powered energy storage systems, the developer often pays for individual training to come on-site, to do training on-site.
It's
In
rough.
location specific.
And then in addition, Suffolk County offers.
In this case, it would be Paul Rogers.
Right,
He
so-
does a lot of our training on the county.
Yeah, so Paul and ESRG, that is our company, and
He's
we are
extremely
already
knowledgeable.
contracted with this company to take care of any fires. In addition, I spoke at length with Chris Steele, who is one of the chiefs from Manorville, sent him all of the information. He said that they were comfortable with it. They would just want a site visit before the build so that they could get a handle on it as well. But they were comfortable with it once we sent all the information over. And we are already, like I said, contracted with ESRG as a third party to monitor and take care of all that. So they're not looking to put any burden on the community financially.
I did sit at the Manorville Fire District meeting and go over this with their commissioners. They seem pretty comfortable with it. I told them, just let us know if there's anything that they need from this developer to help them. I don't know if you guys got any correspondence back.
I think it's important too, that they respond formally to our referral
That would be great.
and provide anything that they need in writing so we can get that to the applicant so we can work on achieving everyone's goal, which by and large here is safety.
Absolutely. That's the backstop of it is growing up in that family, sitting next to a firefighter, understanding that we can have the best plans, but when our people are locally, our neighbors, our community, putting them at risk and then asking them to stay that length of time. I think the plan is solid. I think everything's there. Everybody wants everything done yesterday, and I just feel like, we need, as a community, we need to make sure that we're putting our neighbors and our volunteers first and our
Oh,
people. So-
absolutely, and like I said, that's part of the reason they're contracted with the SRG to make sure that happens. And I do have correspondence from Chris Steele saying that they are comfortable. We actually asked to have a sit-down meeting, and they said it wasn't necessary. So, I can provide any of that information, and then, like I said, ESRG will be on site to, work with them and do whatever is needed. And if they have to be there with hazmat or they have to take over some of that, they will.
I understand all those principles. I just, where I'm at comfort-wise is until our hazmat team is loaded and ready to go. That's
Do we
what
know
I'm
when that will be?
I'm anticipating sometime this year. We still have to train some individuals. We still have to get some equipment that we don't have. We're in need for some kind of response vehicle. In the meantime, the county is going to be surplusing their trailers, so we will have those.
Just a clarification, there is protection in, Suffolk County. The FRES does provide fire protection, and if there's an event like this, I'm sure, Andrew, you can testify that first in the beginning, training cannot just be with Manorville Fire Department. So we have to invite and ask the other four surrounding departments within our town to participate in that training, because any type of fire like this is going to be immediately mutual aid, and Suffolk County is going to come over and take over the scene, and they're going to control the operations at the time, and then work through whether they use their hazmat or if at that point your hazmat team is in place. But either way,
The county does not have a hazmat team. They have a decontamination team.
Yeah.
But it would be the town of Brookhaven or the town of Southampton are the two active teams in this area.
they're the coordination team, so either way,
Yeah, they have
they're
the
going to
coordinators that would
they're
come
going to
out.
obtain those
The coordinators
services and
will
have them on site. So.
and everybody will be reimbursed, correct?
We have it in our town code to recoup costs.
Does that include the volunteer departments?
Yeah, it would have to go through our office, but they would have to
Okay, good.
itemize their manpower apparatus, things like that, and we could prepare something for.
And
on
this
their
is all
behalf.
single-cell units, right? So only, okay.
So our code is structured, just so everyone knows, or a little refresher, was largely based on the NYSERDA model code with some added control measures specific for Riverhead. By and large, it's all related to fire safety and incident management, and to make sure the impacts of these installations are minimal and mitigated.
Understand all, and I appreciate all that. That's really good work. I just think that that's a hurdle for me.
Oh, yeah, no.
I was at a conference in November at Stony Brook, and it was very informative. They were laying out all the new code that has come out, 11 new codes requiring independent peer review. The person has to respond in 15 minutes. For every particular BES operation, they have to have their person on site, coordinating and helping the fire departments know what they're facing. And again, to remind everyone, BES is about clean, reliable, affordable, and resilient energy for the town. So it's come a long way since we first looked at these just a couple of years ago. The safety measures the state has put in place, 11 new codes, and all kinds of, it was very informative. It was a really very informative meeting that I went to with everybody from all over the state, from the New York City Fire Department, from people from Stony Brook University for the different types of tests that they can do on these facilities. One of the tests that they do, I don't want to bore everybody with this too much, but HEX, high energy x-rays, where they monitor the cells to see basically if there's a problem with any of them. They had all kinds of information. I encourage everybody to go check it out. It was very good. First level evaluation at the cell, second at the module test data, third unit level test, fourth institutional test by BES. So
UL requires them to do fire testing on them to see what the propagation would be. So they are required to have those certifications.
I was just going to say, and just so you know, we do have a 24-hour monitoring that's going on, and whether it's thermal,
Yep,
you know,
that was one of the
visual.
recommendations.
Yeah,
the state
exactly.
came
So
out.
they have that 24 hours a day.
Yeah, and that's what I said. I think I looked at this plan, and we have others on the docket, and I think they're really good plans. I just know where I'm at on it. So, yeah.
And Denise, and thank you for bringing that up, because I was at that conference as well, and this is a panel of absolute experts, and I think it's important for the community to know that there are battery storage units in skyscrapers in Manhattan. So, I mean, these things are really a lot safer than, the Frankenstein stuff.
Yeah, that's not my.
I'm not saying you.
Right. And people can put them on their homes now. You can have the smaller ones next to your house, attached to your...
And just a point I would like to make, I don't think myself or anybody at this table is ignorant of the fact that there have been issues throughout the state. There's been an issue in East Hampton, there was an issue upstate. The good thing is all the fire safety and controls have worked as designed. There hasn't been any groundwater contamination that I'm aware of, and everything is safely shut down. Nothing's gone into thermal runaway.
And I'll just add one
Stay
more point.
individual,
Okay.
the fires have stayed contained in the individual structures that they're in,
Correct.
as opposed to many years ago in the
Right.
beginning process, we got a domino effect, which is no longer.
I'll just like to add one more thing. 60% of the electricity that goes through wires goes nowhere. Doesn't get used, it gets lost. Batteries capture that and then send it back to the wires. And I think it's important, there's a lot of waste.
Oh, yeah.
So,
And
Grid-
this will
grid
support-
resilience,
Right, this
yeah.
will support that grid, especially in the summer and when there's a storm and things like that.
oh, absolutely.
When do you think operation date would be in terms of a time of construction and so forth? How far out do you guys potentially have a rough idea? Is this something that is 6 months, a year, 2 years?
Well, I was actually just talking to Laverne at the assessor's office, so now I want to talk to my clients. So I hate to do the lawyer, it depends, but it depends, because we have,
What would be the shortest potential?
I believe 6 months, but like I said, now we're going to look into exemptions, which, we have to see how long that takes to get. I believe the deadline is March 1st, so, I don't think 6 months is out of a line.
Only reason I asked to get an idea for Fire Marshal Smith to how far out you would be with your
That's what
hazmat
I was
team.
asking about hazmat, yeah, that's what I was asking about,
Could
hazmat.
align, yeah.
Yeah,
And Allison, just so the public knows too, the exemptions you're referring to, these would not be IDA.
no, it's not IDA exemptions, because I actually asked her about that. I said, my clients are not interested in now starting with the IDA. She said these are not IDA exemptions.
All right. I do have two draft resolutions for you for consideration if we could add this to the next agenda to get this moving forward. One for the neck deck and the second to schedule a public hearing for, I should look at the date.
Just one brief question. In terms of, I'm only just curious about the finances. You're pretty far away from the grid, no? So how?
There's a point of interconnection
I was just
in
gonna say.
here. I believe that there's a transmission line within EPCAL.
Yeah, and that's where their interconnection is within EPCAL.
So you're using the one that's in that?
Yep. It's already existing.
Yep.
Yeah, they're not digging any extra or, trying to.
Conduit in the ground.
Yeah.
It's already there.
Yep.
You were saying?
Oh, the proposed public hearing date, if the board is comfortable, would be the 18th of February, 6 o'clock meeting.
I'm fine with it.
Good. Thank you. Any other questions before I let everybody go?
No.
Good.
Thank you.
Stick around for the next one, too.
Oh, you were?
Yep, not sure. Is Heather not here?
Heather's here.
Our second matter surrounding special permit for 253 Edwards Avenue, Hampton Jitney Battery Energy Storage System with our good friend Heather.
Tag teams.
How are you today? Good. Great to see you.
Anyone coming up to the table can just introduce themselves for the record.
Yeah, Dennis Quinn with Sprocket Power, representing and supporting Hampton Jitney.
Just nice and loud so the mic picks you up.
Marie Fields with Sprocket Power.
Okay. Sure. We need one more chair. They're grabbing one. Sir, if you could introduce yourself.
Sprocket Power.
Yes.
Who did we miss? Who did? Oh, go ahead.
Jeff Lynch, president of Hampton Jitney.
So just a basic overview, this is a new application for a battery energy storage system located at the Hampton Jitney facility, 253 Edwards Avenue in Calverton, more particularly described as Suffolk County Tax Map Number 600-117-1-8.6. Hampton Jitney is looking to construct a 1,000 kilowatt hour battery energy storage system comprised of 4 separate battery units, an enclosure, and a microgrid to be tied into an existing roof-mounted solar panel system. So essentially what they're looking to do is take a 5,000 square foot area in front of the building. I know this is sort of a large scale project area map, but just to give everyone a brief overview, they're going to construct the batteries here, and it's going to get tied into the microgrid system to work with the roof-mounted solar. So it's essentially going to be ancillary to the Hampton Jitney facility to sort of help them with bus EV charging, lower electricity bills.
So nothing's going back in the grid.
No, only if it was just ancillary. It's primarily all used to just capture the solar for the times where their demand is highest and just kind of keep it optimized to reduce their billings from PSEG.
So the parcel's located in the Calverton Industrial Zoning Use District. It's 13.9 acres, so certainly large enough to meet the battery code criteria. I don't know if anyone had a chance to look at my staff report. I know it was a little lengthy and verbose, but I essentially went through all of the different standards in our battery code and showed how they complied or how they will comply. It's an unlisted action pursuant to SECRA, and no anticipated negative environmental impacts associated with this application are going to be looked at. So I think that the board can issue a neg deck and also schedule a public hearing for the same date as Matt's battery energy storage application. I did refer it out to New York State SHPO. They came back with a no effect finding, meaning it's not going to affect any archaeologically sensitive areas. The Fire Marshal's Office and Riverhead Fire District looked at it. Andrew can sort of explain there were no significant concerns considering the scale of the operation.
Yeah, this is a smaller install than some of the ones we've seen. There's a hydrant right across the street. Talking with the fire district, what we want is like a kind of like a command post area, and that's typical with all these BESS installs that we're doing. The command post is going to store our emergency response plan and any relevant documents. It's going to have the contact information of the subject matter expert, which is also Paul Rogers. There's something else I'm trying to work in. I've been talking to Brookhaven Fire Marshals. This is what they do. They put what's called a bat phone. I kind of like the idea. It's a red phone. You pick it up and it dials the responsible party right away. So that might be something that I may ask for on these installs. But this one, Riverhead Fire District, they didn't really have much to add as far as comments. We do gotta go over the emergency response plan and just fill in some blanks, but that's just,
Yeah, they did supply a draft plan, and that'll be hammered out. Obviously, all of these things will need to be worked out prior to any sort of like approvals or permits being issued. One thing that I did bring up in my staff report, and I'll show you the survey just to sort of give you an idea. There is a freshwater wetland that's both DEC and Town of Riverhead regulated in the corner of the property here. When the Hampton Jitney facility was built, they didn't need New York State DEC approval. They actually were given a letter of no jurisdiction, which runs with the land and has no expiration. Given the fact that their proposed battery facility is going to be landward of their existing improvements and further away from the wetlands, I did refer it to DEC, but don't anticipate them requiring a permit just because they already have a letter of no jurisdiction. And then the applicants have agreed to delineate the wetlands and the buffers to demonstrate that they won't need Conservation Advisory Council approval. I scaled it out on GIS and they're like 500 plus feet away from the wetlands, so I don't have any significant concerns about that.
I hope it doesn't upset the tiger salamanders when they're sleeping at night.
I don't think the pond is I don't think it's a vernal pond, but
A real question, I mean, are you guys anticipating that you'll be using electric buses at some point?
Yes.
That's
No,
what,
it is, I know you were talking earlier about sustainability. This is in large part sustainability about our services and what's coming down the road. Electrification it's been talked about a lot. It gets pushed out, but we will in fact have our first EV motor coach as a demo sometime in 2027. So we are anticipating the power needs that we're going to need going forward, and this is a part of that project. And Suffolk County Transit, which we also have a contract to operate services with, they're moving to electric vehicles, and so we need to upgrade our facilities to handle this new electrification, and that's part of this project.
good to hear.
Where's the fuel storage on site compared to the batteries?
the canopies are in the rear. I'll bring the survey back. There are two. Yeah, there's one here, and then a smaller one here on the northern property line.
And the battery is
Up front.
here.
Yeah. Originally, they had proposed it on the side. This application was made back in July, and I sent them a 2-page letter. They addressed concerns. They actually relocated the batteries.
Do you have footage?
No, I mean, I can ask them to scale that out.
Between here and in here. I think we're originally going to put it way back here, we moved up here, that was about 600 feet. So I think we're about 300 plus feet away.
Yeah, and given that the building is sort of in the middle of everything, my bigger concern was the distance from the wetlands, and I think they'll be fine. Like I said, they're not going to need CAC approval, and they already have the letter of NJ from DEC. One other thing I did want to touch on, they're providing the required fencing. It's under the maximum height. They will provide planting as well to screen. They haven't chosen any species yet. I did make a couple suggestions in my staff report. Maria did bring up to me there was concern about some underground utilities. I don't know how deep they are. I mean, if it's a water line, it should be below the frost line, which is 36 inches. If you're looking at direct burial cable, I think that's 24 inches. If it's in conduit, it's probably a little bit deeper. There are plenty of evergreen species that have shallow roots, that don't have deep tap roots that we can sort of work out to achieve the required screening. So
The only thing I'd be concerned is we have to be able to see emergency signage on that fence.
Okay.
So when we do that screening, we want to be able, that we could still see it from a distance away.
Well, the fence is just under 7 feet tall.
Okay.
So I mean, if we were to do lower evergreen shrubbery, I think that it wouldn't grow as tall, and you could probably affix the signage to the top.
Right.
But
yeah,
we can
'cause
also leave an
if there's
opening.
a fire there, we want to be able to see that signage, not when we get 2 feet away from it and then realize it's a
4x4 post out front.
Yeah, I would say that
Could do
signage is
something like
probably more important than screening, but
Absolutely.
find a happy medium with that. That's fine.
Screen it with a post out front with your safety markers, but at least the majority of the
And
project is.
there is another thought that we had that we've done in other sites, which is to because the battery is not an unattractive thing. You know, the transformer is a little bit more kind of basic, but the battery can be designed almost with a vinyl wrap, which can be, you know, could be sort of a community sustainability-oriented kind of art project, if that is, you know, if that's an appealing thing in the mix of these different topics that were, you know, the safety and the screening.
I think our town code requires them to be, like screened in,
I know.
instead of not visible.
Screen to the extent practical. So like if we're gonna need to lose maybe a couple of shrubs or something so that we can see the signage, I'm fine with that. And again, I can provide like plenty of native species, like hollies, for example, have shallow and fibrous root systems that shouldn't interfere with any sort of underground wiring or utilities, so.
And Andrew, just like to go back to your point about a hydrant across the street, this is not a hydrant that would be used to put this out. They burn out, you don't add water to these. Right, right. But just so that everybody knows, like, only one hydrant, it has nothing to do with the actual BES itself. It can't be used to
We
put
do
that out.
tie into the fire alarm system there as well.
That's what it was.
It does, it'll tie right into
Yeah,
that.
if you looked, I think it's on the electrical diagram, all of the different shut-offs and everything.
I think we're looking at this a little bit, and it's, again, not the project, just the safety, just where I am. So I don't want to waste anybody's time, but hopefully you were paying attention before. So I stand with this the same place I stand with the previous one, just where it's at. So,
As long as the board sees no reason to move forward with the seeker process and get the public hearing going for the special permit. I mean, this will need to go to the planning board for the site plan approval, but special permit first. So.
Good, I'm good with it.
Thank you for coming in today.
Thank you very much.
For our third matter today, we'll have, sorry, I guess the mic's on. The Landmarks Preservation Committee, Richard Wines, matters surrounding creation of the Polish Town Historical Subcommittee with Richard Wines and Joanne WASKI. Good afternoon, sir.
Thank you, Jerry.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming today.
Hold 1 second, just let them, you guys end your conversation so they're
Gonna be at the ball?
Can't be, unfortunately. Great thing, though. Ladies and gentlemen, we just ask if you take your conversation outside. That'd be great, just for us. Thanks. Go ahead, Richard.
Okay, so I have asked Richard Wines to join us today. About a year ago, we presented about the putting Polish Town on the historical registry, and it's come to the point that we now need to form a committee of people to come together and help us to be able to move this forward. So if I can turn over to Richard real quick, where you can give maybe just a little bit of background for the supervisor and to remind us of all the great things that Polish Town has to offer and how we got to where we are today.
Okay, we'll keep this quick, but when the Landmarks Commission was here last year, one of the things we talked about was having Polish Town listed on the National Register of Historic Places. Because first of all, we think the area richly deserves that designation, given the history there, given how important the Polish community is to the town of Riverhead, and how that area. I mean, it's maybe unique in the country. I don't really know, but it's the whole story of Polish immigration, coming as farmers, but then coalescing around the building of St. Isidore's Church, and then gradually the community developed because this is where you could go and shop and speak Polish at the same time, and so we ended up with this whole neighborhood that was basically built by Polish Americans. So our goal now is to give that the recognition it deserves, and also by placing it on the National Register, it could make available tax credits for homeowners who want to fix up their homes. And also it could make tax credits available for business owners, any owner of income-producing property that does a major renovation. So there are both some the recognition, and then there could be some nice economic benefits. Just to clear up one thing, people often think that National Register designation brings restrictions, and that's not really true. Local historic districts do, but a National Register district only brings restrictions to property owners who want to take advantage of the tax credits. If you want to take advantage of the tax credits to fix up your house, you need to meet standards. But other than that, there's no restrictions for homeowners or other property owners. So that's in a nutshell what we like to do here. I don't think I need to regurgitate the history of Polish Town. Most of you know that pretty well. It's really rich. But in order to get there, the first step is always to do a survey, to collect all the information you can collect about the area. And the area is fairly extensive. I mean, there could be 500, 600 properties involved, depending on, we don't know exactly how much will qualify, but we're talking about a big area. To do that, we're going to need to photograph all of the buildings, all of the resources. We're going to need to do research. We're going to need to do interviews with people who either live there or are familiar with the area. So what we want to do is put together a team. We only need 4 or 5 people maybe as a core team that can do photographs, that can collect information, that perhaps can do interviews, do documentary research, those kinds of things. So we'd like to find people who have a little time, can help, and Joanne's idea was that by coming to the 5 of you, you could spread the word. The press that's here will help spread the word, and some people will raise their hands and say, yes, I'd like to help. And if they do, they can contact Joanne's office, and she'll put them through to me, I suppose. So that's the first thing we'd like to do. The second thing is there are probably people out there that have information, that may have documents, that may have family stories, and we'd like to know who they are so that we can talk to them, so that we can get that information. So, and again, they can contact Joanne's office, and we'll take it from there. So, in a nutshell, that's what we're after.
Yes.
You want to add anything, Joanne?
No, we need people. This is a big undertaking, and we want to get it done, and we are relying on the community members to help us do this.
Right.
So you can contact me. My extension here at Town Hall is 226. That's 631-727-3200, extension 226, sorry. Or WASKI at Town of Riverhead, New York.gov. And NY.
Yeah.
Oh, NY. What did I say, New York? So contact me and let's get this going. This is important because, unless you've gone to the Polish Town Fair or you're a local, that's how we know Polish Town. There's other people that don't know that, and we don't want Polish Town to be lost. It's such a significant part of our community, and we want you to help us. So thank you, Richard, for coming in today.
Well,
I
thank you for
appreciate
your
it.
passion on this subject, Joanne.
I just would encourage you, what would be interesting in the project is to speak to St. Isidore's Church.
Yes.
Because I think that's like a prime historic
Yeah.
focal point in the town of
Mhm.
how many migrant workers came from Poland and settled in, and as a community built that church. So the historic. I presume you'll be working with Georgette as well, right? This is for some of the great historical information she has. A wealth.
Already worked with her.
But that's exciting, so thank you very much.
Yeah.
Take
I think
And we
this-
were actually able to define pretty much exactly the area of Polish Town. Because if there was a fine line there of trying to figure out the parameter of the streets, where does it start, where does it stop, and
Right.
we were able to work with Anna that was able to help us.
Exactly. She was a big help, and in order to qualify in the National Register, it has to be built before a certain date, but also we have to establish the Polish connection. And so part with the town database has been very useful in that.
Yeah.
No, it's a terrific idea, definitely.
And we have spoken with the Polish Civic Association, and they're eager to help as well. So we're off to a good start. It's a lot of work.
It will be a lot of work.
Yes, I think it's great. And to the councilman's point about the church, I'm sure they'll be instrumental in helping with volunteers and maybe.
Well, it's their history.
And they, yeah, exactly, and civics. Just curious on the tax credits. Are they federal tax credits? Are they state tax credits? How does that work?
There's a combination. And for homeowners who want to do any kind of basically almost repair work, there's a 20% state tax credit. And that's available. Some of the work has to be on the exterior, but you can also replace your furnace as part of that, as long as some of the work is on the exterior. And the exterior work has to respect the historic integrity of the house. That's a 20% tax credit. We're lucky in Riverhead, maybe I should say lucky, because the tax credit is available depending on if the area's income level is below the state average, and we qualify. For owners of any income-producing property, that could be a rental building, it could be a store, it could be anything else that produces income, they can qualify for both a 20% federal credit, tax credit, and a 20% state tax credit. Again, but that's for major restoration work. And again, that can be the whole property, but the restoration work, the renovation work has to be equivalent to the value of the building, not the value of the property. And that has been used in several places in our other National Register districts, things like the Suffolk Theater.
I think this is fantastic, and everybody in our town is talking about the changes coming. We're downtown places, and Joanna has worked with you to help maintain something in the beauty of it, and it's Polish Town, USA. It is unique to being someone who wasn't raised here and coming here. It is well known for that everywhere, so it's definitely worth it. So
great,
thanks.
Great. Well, thank you. Thank you for your time.
This is big for me because my father-in-law grew up on Sweezy Avenue, and he was one of the Polish Town Terrors as a kid.
Oh, wow.
And the locals know who the Polish Town Terrors were. And so I appreciate this on behalf of my children. So this is important to us.
Yeah, I think it's important to so many people, and it also shows just the inclusivity of our town. And we come from a long line of immigrants. It's incredible. All right, so thank you guys so much. Our next item is our resolutions, and Deputy Supervisor Devin Higgins to read those resolutions. Deputy?
If we're ready, we'll get right into them. Resolution number 1, Water District Capital Project number 82601, Qdoba Restaurant, 949 Old Country Road, budget adoption. That's the Friendly's building. Resolution number 2, amends Town Board Resolution number 2026-17. We just had an incorrect capital project number, so this is just cleaning up that typographical error. Number 3, approve sewer district request for change order number 1 related to the electrical contract for the Class A biosolids upgrade project. And as we did last time, we have the sewer district superintendent to just quickly walk the board through resolution number 3 and also resolution number 4 related to change order number 2 related to contract E electrical construction, also for Class A biosolids upgrade.
Popular guy lately.
What's that? Popular guy lately. The first one is to change on, the first change is to put in the Davis-Bacon Act. It wasn't put in the original contract, so there's no cost to that. And then the second one is a cost increase, but it's still under the total project with their contingency money and all.
So, so it's no cost.
Correct. Yep.
Anybody have questions about either one of these two resolutions for Tim? Sounds great. Thanks for coming up.
Okay, resolution number 5, authorize the sewer district employees to attend the NYWEA meeting and training conference. Just a quick note on that. The resolution says it's going to be the deputy. I'm sorry. No, we don't need you again, I don't think, on this. It's just to quickly point out that the superintendent and the deputy are going to attend this conference. So in the event we had something like we had yesterday occur, the board and the public can rest assured we have a very capable number 3, Alex Kirsch. You guys remember he recently was employee of the quarter. So he would be the go-to person should something dramatic happen during the conference when Tim and his deputy are out of town.
Excellent.
All right?
Thank you. That was my question.
Number 6, authorizes attendance at the IAAI conference by Chief Fire Marshal.
Good.
Resolution number 7, ratifies the fees for the 2026 winter brochure. And for this, we have Ashley Shandell. She is with our Recreation Department. She's going to quickly just come up, and we did talk about this during work session previously, but just to, again, review number 7 and number 8, which sets the 2026 recreational fee schedule. So thank you, Ashley, for being here.
Sure. The rates for the brochure were just put in as we do every season, but those are established through the cost of the programming. So I know we didn't go over it in the work session, but basically it covers the supplies of the program, the cost of the staff that are teaching it, or if they're a contracted person.
And I have a question on the, where are we in terms of we print the brochure, right?
So we have not printed the brochure for the past season and this season, but we will be printing one expected for spring, summer, because that's our big one. So we have printable copies. If anyone requests one, they can always call us, we can send it to them. It's digital right now, but it's in the form of our old one where we can print it for them and send it. Otherwise, the whole catalog's
Can
online.
they get that on our website?
Yeah.
So they can print it themselves?
Yeah, if they want to.
And so the reason why I ask is I'm real, not concerned, but I just wonder where digital is compared to printing. I mean, what's your response digitally?
Yeah, well, that's kind of why we think our spring, summer is so much bigger that we want it printed, because a lot of parents and such keep that in their bag and look to plan stuff, and they like to have the physical thing. So in our smaller months, our seasons, the fall, the winter, we're going more digital just to save money on that printing budget for the summer. The response is kind of hit or miss. Usually the physical copy helps more, but we have great marketing, and Rebecca does a great job in our department to do that, to try to reach everybody. And now we've seen if there's been decrease in digital, that we've offered the print. If people want it, we'll send it to them, or we can print it and mail it to them if they want.
What kind of programming are you guys coordinating with Conic over at the ice rink? Are you doing towards utilizing that?
For right now, we've just been doing a lot of open skates for residents. We've been discussing with them doing things like curling and stuff. It's just a matter of finding the instructor that can come here to do it. I think Jordan has a lead on that, to figure out even someone who can come out to start, see what the interest is, and then grow from there.
Ashley, I just wanted to ask,
Sure.
with last time at work session, we were talking about, there was discussion about increasing fees.
Yeah.
On this brochure, is it going to increase the senior resident permit? Is that
On this resolution, it does. It has the facility rentals, the beach stickers, all involved.
I'm not in favor of increasing the senior residence parking permit fee. I think that was something we discussed the last time too. So I didn't know if that's going to be separated out or not, but I'm not going to vote for an increase in senior resident permit fees.
I agree with that.
That's what
I had made that point at the last work session.
That's on page 4.
It's a $5 increase.
The next resolution, sorry.
Yeah.
Yep, okay, don't forget.
Yeah, it was a $5 increase, and we had discussed not raising it to that. So,
Okay, yeah, whichever way the town board wants to go with that. We did increase the resident rate to 30 from 25, and then look at it kind of as a senior discount, regardless of what the resident price is. But again, it's up to the board on which way they want to go with it, where we just offer suggestions and then.
I didn't support the increase at all. However, I did not receive the support that I was hoping to get on that. But I would like to stand firm for the seniors, not to
We could
increase them.
leave the resolution in and amend it to $10. You know what I mean?
That's fine.
So like, in other words, if that's the most simplest course of action, or.
I think so. I think that's.
Yeah, we won't be selling until like February, or expected whenever the stickers come in, if we're going that route regardless. So no transactions will be done.
Can the town attorney do that, amend it after the fact?
Oh, yeah.
I'll defer to the town attorney on it, but it would seem to me, since this packet hasn't been finalized yet for final distribution, it's still in draft form. As the pre-final, we could just ask the recreation folks to change their attachment fee schedule to reflect $10, and then the resolution that would get distributed in final form at the end of the week on Friday in anticipation of the Tuesday meeting would reflect the $10 that the board is requesting.
Okay.
Thank you.
And while you're here, I just want to tell you, I love what you guys are doing with the puzzles.
Oh, thanks.
For those that don't know, the Recreation Department has a puzzle swap. They're looking for donations of puzzles. They're looking for people to come in and take a puzzle, share a puzzle, help put together a puzzle that they have halfway done up there. It's great. I love puzzles, and I thought that was such a great idea.
Thank you, and thank you guys for donating.
I do too. I love them, and I think they're great in the winter months when you're stuck inside. It's great
When
to
it
do.
snows.
We both ended up dropping off about 5 or 6 puzzles apiece yesterday, unbeknownst
I
to
think
each
that
other.
I had like 10.
Oh, wow. I had 6.
The other day, looked like they were pretty stressed out standing around that house. There's a lot of pieces.
Good coffee break.
It's a great, it's great for your memory. It helps you think.
Yeah. All right, so, and then, I don't know if, I know the other 4 of you were here for the work session as far as facility rentals and the rest of the stickers. I don't know if you want to.
I did review them, and it was
Okay.
before I was in. Yeah, I'm good with it. I appreciate the senior fee going back. That was-
Ashley, do you want to just quickly touch on the community border pass?
Oh, yeah, so I guess the biggest addition there would be, to stay with the parking permits, was the community border pass, which we did bring up in the work session. And that was just essentially these zip codes that touch the town of Riverhead to allow for, we get tons and tons of people coming who just live right outside, or their kids go to the Riverhead school, they can't go with their friends to the beach, so it just would alleviate a lot of time as well to just accommodate them.
Right. The same sticker, or is it different colorized?
It's gonna be the same sticker, but we just have, like on the tab end of the sticker that we rip off, we mark everything so we know exactly who has what type of sticker it was, how much of it.
And our prices comparatively to surrounding communities, so our residents, this is great, and we should utilize this and access it. So it's awesome, so.
Yeah.
Thank you for all you do.
Yeah, no problem. Sid, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Okay, resolution number 9 and resolution number 10, both relate to the fire marshal's office, and we have Chief Fire Marshal Andrew Smith here. Number 9 sets fire prevention construction fees 2026, and number 10, fire prevention operating permit fees for 2026.
We should start having walk-up music. Like
You should just
WWE or something.
Major League Baseball, everybody should put their walkouts on.
So 2 years ago, we increased our fire marshal fees, which haven't been touched in probably over 20 years before that. And we kind of base them on what it costs the town for us to carry out these inspections and permits and things like that. So the operating costs has went up this year, as you know. So I'm proposing that we move the fees that same amount, just to cover our costs.
Yeah, and just so you know, we're doing that with every department, where we're gonna increase based on CPI. I mean, everything increases. And if you don't do that, taxpayers that are not using your services are subsidizing the ones that
And
are.
I don't want us to be in the position where there are another 20 years go by and we haven't touched our fees. So these small incremental raises in the fees kind of keep us relevant. It's a little bit at a time instead of big chunks where people are going to get upset about it and things like that.
This is a great way. This is a great way to make sure that we're doing things right. Thank you.
All right. Just keeping places of worship at 0 for you.
Well, that's a new leader's issue. So.
You raised mine, just for the record.
It's
all good.
Okay, resolution number 13, authorize the supervisor to execute a license agreement with the Town of Riverhead's Community Development Agency, CDA. This relates to the USGA, utilizing a portion of the EPCAL runway for parking of cars during the US Open taking place in June of 2026. We previously had a work session discussion on this. There's actually 2 resolutions that relate to this. They're slightly out of sequence. It's resolution number 13, and then number 16 relates to the SECRA. Are we out of sequence? Did I miss one?
Yeah, you skipped 11 and 12.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So right, sorry about that. Okay. Okay, I'm sorry, 11, appoints an electrical inspector, so this is just going from provisional to permanent appointment for Chris Schwartz.
He's been incredible.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yep. Great.
Okay, number 12, ratifies the appointment of a part-time code enforcement officer. This is the second of 2 that we've hired recently, which is great. And then now we have number 13, which is the license agreement with the Town of Riverhead CDA, as I said, for use of portion of the runway to park vehicles for the U.S. Open taking place in June.
And this money goes into the general fund, correct? We have an account.
I don't want to speak to that. Jeanette probably can answer that.
Jeanette, could you come up for a second, please? Thank you. This will be Oh, you can come up to the table. Probably quicker.
Do you want fries with that?
No. Bob just had a question to ask exactly which, where that.
This is the USGA?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we have a license agreement resolution that's, I believe, in this packet.
That makes it.
Yeah, so the money will definitely go to the general fund with that license agreement.
Thank you very much, Jeanette.
It has no fiscal impact on this resolution, but, and I'm just curious, does the
We don't
resolution
generally do
state
that
any
for
cost?
revenues because it's not a cost to us. I usually only do that if it's an expense to the town, but if it's revenues coming in, we don't usually.
We are looking into creating something in our drop-down menu that shows either revenue or then shows if it's already budgeted, that it wouldn't be the fiscal impact that was beyond the budget. So we are looking to add those so that the public understands that better, so.
I mean, this is obviously a benefit to the town. It's money that we didn't budget because we didn't know about it.
Runway's just sitting there idle.
But that's a fair assessment. I had the same assessment when I arrived here
And
15
time
days ago.
constraints. I will say I try to put the account codes in, but there's a lot of times where resolutions get entered late because we're not done working on the agreement yet. It's not final, so I just physically don't have the time to enter the revenue.
Understood.
So,
Understood.
but I will if I can.
The final dollar amount,
150.
is what the agreement is?
It's $150,000.
Yeah, it's 150.
Reasons not in the resolution, or?
That's in the license, that's in the one with USGA. I believe that's in the packet.
It's later in the packet.
Yeah.
Yeah, these two separate.
Good. Thank you.
Okay. Resolution number 14, authorizes the supervisor to sign a memorandum of agreement and waiver and release for Eastern Suffolk BOCES interns. We're going to have 2 interns working for a period of time over at the senior center.
Great. Can we get more interns from BOCES?
Can we get more interns from BOCES? I don't know the answer to that question, but we certainly can inquire, see if we can spread that into other departments. We can certainly look into that. Sure. Resolution number 15 authorizes the supervisor to execute lease agreement authorizing the town to lease an automobile from Suffolk County Office for the Aging for the bargain price of $1 per year.
$1.
Number 16, this is the second resolution related to the USGA utilization of the runway. This is the secret classification, lead agency, and negative declaration. And just a point of reference on both of the resolutions related to the USGA, you're going to see duplicate resolutions, literally carbon copies, the same in the CDA agenda for Tuesday since it's CDA land. So those are not included in the CDA packet at the moment, but they will be added, literally just carbon copies of what you're seeing.
Okay.
Resolution number 17 authorizes renewal of a musical works license agreement with the American Society of Composers, Authors, and Publishers, ASCAP 2026.
Nothing like paying that ASCAP.
Resolution number 18 approves extension of an agreement with Mark Conklin, Nunc Pro Tunc. We've done this in the past, and the Water District Superintendent is here. Mark Conklin, for those that may not know, is Frank Mancini's predecessor. Frank, did you want to come up and just expound upon the service that Mark provides for us?
Also, ladies and gentlemen, this is your public servant of the year. How about them apples? Yeah.
Thanks for bringing me up and being able to talk about this. So Mark is my predecessor, and he helps me. He's like, first of all, we get a great rate, and he's cheaper than having a kid from H2M on site managing all these capital projects. So we've got a lot going on. In this case, he's helping me with the big tank in Wading River and the booster station. So it's a value to me because somebody I trust who knows the business, watching every move the contractors make. It's a third party because, you know, having your engineer oversee the work that they did maybe isn't the best scenario. Not that I have anything wrong with our engineer, but I think this is a cleaner way to do it. And I also have him around to just pick his brain for anything that I might ask about. You know, so I think this is a great deal for the town, and Mark loves the water district. He was passionate about it his whole life, and it keeps him involved in it. And it's a great deal for the ratepayers. So,
Great.
He might love water just a little bit more than you.
Yeah.
We can have a fight over that.
Frank, maybe just to make life a little easier, since you're already up here, we'll just, if the board's amenable, just go slightly out of sequence, just to save Frank the trip. We can jump to resolution number 24, which says awards bid for rehabilitation of plant number 7, electrical upgrades, Riverhead Water District. Frank, I know you were going to speak to them about the good work that the water district's done
Yeah,
over
so-
there at plant 7.
Yep. Just as a background, Plant 7 is on the north side of Fresh Pond Road. It produces about 20% of the water we pump. It's been pumping like that hard since the 1980s. So as we approach a 50-year lifespan, the equipment is old, and we've had some issues with things catching on fire and stuff in there. This is one that makes me nervous. But we're going to replace all the electrical equipment in this. And when I presented the map and plan, I forgot to emphasize this because it was a little unusual that up to the years leading up to this, in the wintertime, we change our operation from a pump water operation to a maintenance one. And I used my staff and worked closely with them to really gut and redo this building so that when we normally redo a pump station, we have a mechanical contract, a building contract, and an electrical one. In this case, we did all the mechanical and building stuff ourselves. So I'm going to estimate this saves the ratepayer about $500,000 to $1 million because we don't even have those contracts in play. It's really just going to be pure big electric. And this is how we develop our staff, just like I learned. We're out in the field doing the work. This involved replacing pipes in this big underground pipe galley and learning how to rig them up and put them all together. And now the guys know about all the fittings we use, setting up all the chem pumps, a new lime tank. It was really, it's stressful, but that's how you learn. And I was just super proud of my staff for pulling this off. And this is now, the end of this is we go out to bid with an electrical contract. In this case, Hink was the low bidder. They're a local company we're familiar with. We're confident going into it. So this is a project you'll start seeing us do slowly. And then once the summer ends, we're really going to kick it into high gear and do it.
Questions? Comments?
You always do a great job.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Everybody's asking Wading River, what color are you painting the water tank in Wading River? Is it?
It's that color.
Blue? Is it staying that color?
It's going to stay that color, which is kind of an off-white, and it's the exact same color as the nearly identical tank in Plant 15. So, yeah, that's going to be a big thing coming in. The pressure for me right now is moving that project along so in the spring we can pump water out of it. Because every day we lose now is one less day we have in the spring. So we've got some intense meetings going on, but knock on wood, that project's going along pretty well.
Yeah. I didn't know.
Well, I can guarantee we have one of the best people in Suffolk County on it, so that's great. Thanks.
Thank you, guys, and I wouldn't do it without your support. Like, I thank you guys very much. You're always so supportive of me and my operation. So,
Well, you do a great job.
yeah, thanks.
People who lead our infrastructure here are working their tails off for the taxpayers. Thank you, Frank.
Thank you guys so much.
Okay, so that was resolution number 24. We're going to go back in sequence now, so now we're going to go back to 19. Classify a special permit application of Hampton Jitney Battery Energy Storage System as an unlisted action pursuant to SECRA and issues a negative declaration, 253 Edwards Avenue, Calverton, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 600-117-1-8.6. Number 20, authorizes town clerk to publish and post notice for public hearing for the special permit application entitled Hampton Jitney Battery Energy Storage System, 253 Edwards Avenue, Calverton, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 600-117-1-8.6. And just a note that the public hearing pursuant to the notice that's attached is scheduled for the second meeting in February, which is going to take place on February 18th at 6 p.m. Resolution number 21 authorizes the town clerk to publish and post notice to bidders for Meeting House Creek Road bulkhead renovation. Engineering was able to obtain finally the permit from the DEC, and now this is the next step in the process to go out and bid for that work. Number 22 authorizes town clerk to publish and post bid for propane fuel and equipment maintenance. Number 23 extends bid nunc-pro-tunc for bid number 2022-35 traffic signal emergency repair and additional work as authorized. 24 we already spoke about. 25 awards rebid for truck parts. 26 authorizes the submission of a letter of intent and grant application to New York Sea Grant for a study and plan to address flooding issues on Creek Road and Sound Road in Wading River, New York. And for this we have Drew Dillingham, our engineer. He's going to come up and
Come on
to
down,
talk
Drew.
to the board a little bit further about what he has in mind with this grant application, together with an email that we'll make available to the board. We have copies for anybody in the room that's interested, and we'll also attach what Drew's handing out to the resolution
Thank you, Drew.
town board meeting.
You want me to hand those out to him? I can take those if you'd like. Yeah. There you go.
Thank you.
There you go, sir. Thank you. Yep. There you go, sir. All right, Drew, if you'd like to.
Yes, I would respectfully ask that questions be withheld till the end, just because this is comprehensive and rather lengthy. Recurring flooding concerns along Creek Road and portions of Sound Road in Wading River have been raised by the community. The flooding impacts public infrastructure, residents, and the surrounding environment. A comprehensive study is needed to identify the causes of flooding and recommend solutions that improve stormwater management, coastal resilience, and ecological health. This study will complement an effort to restore Wading River Marsh. The town has been engaging with U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, the Nature Conservancy, Audubon, and Long Island Sound Partnership to understand the health of the marsh and identify potential restoration solutions. And together these projects will enhance community resilience. New York Sea Grant, with funding from Long Island Sound Partnership, offers a planning support program that matches communities with the Long Island Sound coastal boundary across New York and Connecticut, with qualified contractors to assist with assessing local environmental risks, conceptualizing project ideas, and conducting preliminary planning efforts to advance resilience-focused projects. No match is required from participating communities. To apply, the town needs to submit an expression of interest by January 30th and set up a meeting with the Long Island Sound Sustainable and Resilience Communities Extension Professional for Suffolk County. A meeting is currently scheduled for January 22nd. A detailed application will then be due by February 27th. Applicants will be notified within approximately 5 weeks of the close of the application period to let them know if they are a candidate to receive support through the Long Island Sound Resilience Planning Support Program. Candidate projects will be put into a request for proposals, and contractors will be competitively procured by New York Sea Grant through Cornell to support the candidate projects. Once contractors are hired, candidates will be notified if they have been selected to receive an award. Award determinations are subject to availability of funding and resources and engagement of a qualified contractor. Each awardee will be sent an acceptance of support letter from New York Sea Grant to outline the agreement and expectations for the awardee, contractor, and New York Sea Grant. New York Sea Grant through Cornell will then develop a contract with a selected contractor to provide services for each awardee. The contractor will carry out the tasks identified in the contract, working in consultation with the awardee. No funds will be dispersed to or passed through the awardee, but awardees will be asked to approve products and deliverables before payment is made to the contractor. Awardees are expected to commit staff, resources, e.g. local data, information and knowledge, conference rooms, meeting spaces, and time to the process. Awarding projects are expected to begin in fall of 2026 and typically take about 18 months to complete. At the conclusion of the support provided through this program, it is anticipated that awardees will be ready to take appropriate next steps to implement the recommended resilience-focused projects. This is a great opportunity for the town to get free planning support to address a high priority issue.
Great.
This is really good.
No match. Good stuff.
No match,
It's really
and it's really promising. And we do have a meeting set up between us meaning the Dawn and Joey Majorana and C. Grant on the 22nd.
Yep. That's what it says, yeah, and the rest of it. Thank you, Drew.
Excellent. Wading River, that area needs the help. It
Yeah.
really does.
We appreciate you coming and explaining this and going into detail and taking your time with it, so thank you for coming forward.
Okay.
Anybody questions? Thank you, Dawn, for helping them out on the grant, so we'll get the money. Good job, Drew.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, resolution number 27, approve special event, chapter 255, application for Chicken Kids consignment event. Number 28, pays the bills. So that concludes the town board resolutions. We do have two that are in the CDA resolution packet you guys have. As I mentioned, the additional two related to the USGA will be added, carbon copies to this, so there'll be a total of 4 resolutions in the CDA packet on Tuesday when we get to the town board meeting. So we have 2 resolutions in your packet before you. Resolution number 1, amends procurement policy and investment policy and adopts a donation policy for the Town of Riverhead Community Development Agency. Those are clones of the investment policy and the donation policies that we've previously adopted for the town board. And then resolution number 2, omnibus resolution relating to requirements of the Public Authorities Accountability Act of 2005 and ratifying all prior committee charters and policies of the Community Development Agency. We have Dawn here. We'll just have her come up and just further explain that a little bit. But essentially, these are organizational resolutions for CDA that we do at the beginning of the year every year.
I like the table. I love the table.
Hello, how's everyone? Good. So our organizational meeting for CDA is on Wednesday, and it's the, kickoff meeting for the agency for the year. The agency has not had a lot of action in the past couple of years, so there hasn't really been a lot of excitement in the rest, but we have some resolutions for Wednesday. So they are the adoption of the new policies, which the Governance and Audit Committee recommended that the agency adopt, and then the omnibus resolution. So the omnibus resolution basically kicks off the year with all of the new policies and old policies, and also typically the supervisor will designate members to the subcommittees. We have 2 subcommittees, a governance committee and an audit committee, and those committees meet twice a year to look at the policies and procedures that the organization has and may need. And we just did that in the end of 25, and the new policies you're seeing are those that were recommended by the committee. And
It says, on this, it says, my copy says Tim Hubbard.
I apologize for that. I shouldn't be.
And then also
there, yeah.
William Rothar.
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll just fix it.
I may have put the wrong one in because I took them out, so maybe it didn't get saved or something. But this Civic Plus is new, so for us. Anyway, so those need to be added, and then there are obligations of board members because we are a entirely separate government entity, a public authority, operating under public authorities law. That you need to do. So there's a training session that you need to do as within 1 year of taking office in the agency, and then there's an annual self-evaluation that is interesting that I've sent you all a copy of that needs to be completed and part of our records for the agency. And then we do an annual report, and then Jeanette and her staff do all of our accounting for the agency, and they do a great job at that.
Was that pre-January, you said the thing that was sent? Because I must have.
I did, and I just resent it to you with some other information, just generally speaking. And just as a recap, the agency is an economic development agency. It has some special and unique powers granted to it by New York State General Municipal Law to engage in economic development, including public and private partnerships, and the management and real estate transactions. So that's the story. It's not exciting, a little more exciting than our previous board meetings, but if you have any questions, we're here to answer them. And
I was going to say, we have actually something to vote on next time.
we'll have 4 things to vote on, actually. We'll have these 2 resolutions, the kickoff resolutions, and then we'll have the CDA leasing with the town on the USGA stuff. So, yeah. Okay. Great.
Thanks for explaining that.
Thank you. Yep. All right. Yep.
Well, I believe this concludes our work session for today. In a moment, I'll ask for first and a second so we can go into executive session. But before that, I'd like to let you know what we're going to be discussing today, and that is contractual matters surrounding contractual agreement between the Town of Riverhead and Petrocelli Contracting with PRUDENTI and Thomas, and matters surrounding contractual agreement between Skip Barber Driving School and the Town of Riverhead with Councilperson HURLEY, and litigation, matters surrounding litigation between the Town of Riverhead and a former employee with Councilor Howard. And may I have a first and a second to go to executive session?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Everybody's leaving. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you next time.